I hear this statement all the time. I know I should, but I just don't have time to develop leaders. Well, here's my question. Why don't you have time? In today's video, I'm going to share the 4 top things that are robbing you of time to develop leaders. And I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do about it. Hey guys, this is Mac Lake bringing you tips, tools, and techniques helping you develop more and better leaders. Hey, you know you should be spending time developing leaders, but you're just not. And you're feeling pressure from 2 sides. First of all, you feel like you don't have enough leaders, and so you know that you need to invest more time in identifying, equipping, and empowering new leaders. But then secondly, you know you have a good group of existing leaders or staff under you, and you know you need to invest time in their ongoing development. But the problem is you just can't seem to find time for either one. Now, you know if you invested time in the development of new leaders, that it's going to give you more leaders, which would help you accomplish your mission. And you know that if you invest time in the development of your current leaders, of your existing team, it's going to give you better leaders, which is going to help you accomplish your mission. So, both help you win, but you still find yourself saying, I don't have time for leadership development. Well, the first part of winning the battle is identifying the enemy. So today, I want to give you 4 things that are robbing you of time for developing leaders. The first thing that's robbing you of time is busy work. You know, we all get caught up in this. You know, we get sucked into that 2-hour vortex of responding to emails, or we get distracted. We're reading that blog post. Have you done this? And you just get sucked into it, and then it leads to other things. And next thing you know, you're doing research and you're Googling things, and it leads us down a pathway of searching for more information and ultimately doesn't produce any significant results. We get pulled into conversations or meetings about decisions that, to be honest, our opinion really isn't that important for, or it's not needed for. It's just our ego likes to be a part and know as much as what's going on as we can. So let me give you my definition of busy work. Here it is. Ready? Busy work is being intensely focused on and highly productive with low value activity that generates insignificant results. Now, a discerning leader distinguishes between low and high value activity and is disciplined in prioritizing them correctly in their schedule. Low value activities, they're going to eat away at our time if we let them. Now, here's what I've discovered in my own life. Low value activity is the greatest killer of high value activity. Now, here's the tricky thing about busy work. Busy work makes you feel productive while at the same time killing your productivity. You know this is true. You know, you've experienced this before. You know, you get home at the end of your day and you begin to think, wow, I was busy all day, but I don't feel like I moved the ball down the field any. So what's the solution? You have to start by retraining yourself to prioritize high value activity in your workday schedule. Here's something I started doing a few years ago that has been a huge help to me. I put a 3x5 card in my bathroom cabinet so I would see it every single day, and it has this question on it. Will I be proactive or reactive with the first 2 hours of my day? I got to tell you, waking up and seeing that every single day has helped me focus on high value activity at the very beginning of my day. And doing this retrains your brain to be focused on high value activity rather than low value activity. You know, we all have to do those busy things. I know that. We've got to fill out the reports. We got to respond to the email threads. We got to do the research or file important documents. But we have to get in the habit of starting our day in a proactive mindset. Because when you train your mind this way, what happens, you will be less tolerant and more creative about dealing with low value activity. The second thing that can rob you of leadership development time is doing things that someone else could do. I've heard Andy Stanley give this principle: only do what only you can do. So many leaders get involved in details, in day-to-day issues, in firefighting, in micromanaging their staff. And as a result, they end up doing things that realistically other people could do. And I have to tell you, there's nothing worse than spending your precious time doing something that someone else could have done. We have to be careful what tactical activities we get involved in, because the more you do tactical activities, the less time you have for development. If you're a leader, yes, you have to make sure things get done in your area. But I said you have to make sure things get done, not that you have to do them. The more senior you are in leadership, the more time you should spend on strategic rather than tactical issues. Years ago, when I was pastoring at Carolina Forest Community Church, I was in a season where I was feeling the pressure of doing too much. And so one morning I woke up and I was doing my devotions and I read 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 11. And in that passage, Paul wrote this. He said, "My work is to be a preacher, an apostle, and teacher." And when I read that, it hit me. Paul knew the thing that only he could do, and he named it. He named the 3 things that he could do, the 3 things that he would focus on, the top 3 primary things that he was called to do. And it's interesting because when he went on his first missionary journey, Acts 13:5 tells us that John Mark went with him as his assistant. Now, he had someone else who could do the other things so that he could do only what he could do. So that day, after I read that, I sat down and I defined the top 3 things that I needed to be focused on as a senior pastor. So here's an action step you can take. Write down a long list of things that you do. And from that list, identify the top 3 things that only you can do. And look at all the others and find what you can give away to others on your team. The third thing that's robbing you of leadership development time is not planning your time for the week. Every Monday, you and I get a reset, a new block of 168 hours. Now, to be honest with you, most people don't plan out how they will use those blocks of time in their week. And when we don't plan how we're going to use that time, it gets used randomly rather than strategically. I've not met a leader yet who didn't say, yes, leadership development is an important part of my role. But I've also not met many leaders who actually plan for leadership development in their week. So get in the habit of planning your week. Saturday morning, Sunday evening, early Monday, those are all good times to plan your upcoming week. But as you plan your priorities and plan your activities for the week, make sure you include leadership development as part of your plan. Include one of these 3 things in your leadership development activities every single week, okay? Plan your next team development. Just spend some time doing that. Secondly, plan your one-on-one meetings with those who report to you. Or third, plan opportunities for you to watch one of your leaders in action so you can give them feedback. Or look at your schedule, see what you're doing, and plan a time for one or more of your leaders to watch you in action so you can discuss what they can learn from watching you. Those are great development opportunities, but make sure you plan those opportunities in the context of every week. The fourth thing that robs us of leadership development time is not looking at the potential of people. If you're not looking at the potential of your people on a regular basis, then you're missing opportunities to develop them. I read one time that Larry Bossidy, former CEO of Honeywell, took an hour every Sunday just to look at the people who reported to him. He would look at how they were doing, what they might need, what they needed to be developed. He did this so he could know how to develop those around him. Now, this was something he disciplined himself to do every single week. Now, you might be saying, now, that's going to be hard for me to do because I'm not passionate about leadership development. So here's what I want you to understand. Don't try to manufacture a passion around leadership development. You don't have to be driven by a passion for leadership development itself. But here's what I know about you. You are probably passionate about people. If people is your passion, then look at the people on your team and look at their potential and begin to ask yourself, what can I do to help them grow? What can I do to help make them better? Let your passion for people fuel your energy for doing development. Or maybe you're passionate about your area of focus, your particular department. Then let your passion for your area of focus fuel your energy for developing people to be more effective at accomplishing the mission of your department or your organization. So you don't have to be passionate about leadership development. Be passionate about what you're passionate about, and let that fuel your energy for development so you can maximize people or maximize your mission. So here's an action I want you to take, okay? Make a list of everyone on your team. Review that list each week from a development perspective and just ask yourself, what can I do this week with these individuals to help maximize their strengths, their potential, or how can I develop them more so that we can maximize our mission? And that way, you're leaning into what you can do to develop your team to get better results. So those are 4 things that could be robbing you of time for leadership development and a few suggestions that can help you make some progress. So before you go, I want to ask you to do something. Write down one action step that you're going to take to increase your time that you're going to spend in leadership development this coming week. Write it down. Post it where you can see it so that you'll do it. Hey, thanks again for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you do so by clicking the subscribe button. Click the little bell so that you can be notified every Tuesday when a new video comes out. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week.